Hey, listeners, just before we get into today's podcast, I just wanted to give a shout out to today's sponsor, the Pretentious Pickle Company. The Pretentious Pickle Company is located at 190 Water Street right here in Plymouth, Massachusetts. If you are a pickled fan, you can find everything under the sun here that has been pickled, whether it be obviously pickled cucumbers, but they do cauliflower, green beans, carrots, onions, okra, Brussels sprouts, eggs, anything that you can pickle, they do pickle. It's all delicious. They have tons of things to choose from. It's made right there in their own kitchen, all locally made, all locally sourced. And they're just such a great place to go. So if you live here in Plymouth, by all means, swing down to 190 Water Street and check them out. They are open Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 10 to 4, and Sundays, 11 to 4. But if you're not local to Plymouth, you can still enjoy Pretentious Pickle Company by heading over to www.pretentiouspickle.com, and you can order right there and they'll ship it to you. So you can get pickles locally sourced somewhere else and shipped right to you, and they're all delicious. So definitely check them out. Thank you to the Pretentious Pickle people. Welcome back, Inebri-ites. This is Andy of the Inebri-art podcast, and I am again recording from our home away from home here at the Craft Beer Cellar on Main Street in Plymouth. And and today's guest is on a Nickelodeon show called Side Hustle. I feel like Nickelodeon was like a big thing in my childhood, and it's great that it's still carrying on. So, Jacques Chevelle, welcome to the show, man.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
So, how did you end up on Nickel? I mean, I go way back. I used to watch You Can't Do This on Television and Danger Mouse and like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can tell by your face.
Okay.
You're like,
right.
Wow. It's fine. It's fine.
No. I grew up on I'm not sure the question was like what shows did I grow up in Nickelodeon age or
more kind of. Nickelodeon's been one of those things where it's been around and everyone kind of has their memory of it. Like, my son watched The Wiggles, and so like everyone, I feel like everyone has kind of their Nickelodeon era. But like, what did you grow up on Nickelodeon, and were you aiming for Nickelodeon, or is that just kind of how it unfolded?
I did grow up that my era was like around maybe All That, like the old All That with Keenan and Kel, the Amanda Show, Little Zoe 101. That show was kind of like too old for me. So I mean, I was like around that area. Like it was like, it's like one of the shows like my parents might let me watch because it just like I was too young for it. But I naturally gravitated towards those scripts. I liked them. I understood the comedy. I knew where the jokes were, and I liked the characters. Like I enjoy playing like wacky characters and offbeat characters. So I kind of gravitated towards those scripts, and it kind of it was actually honestly it was my first real audition was like a Nickelodeon script.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I had first started acting like 8 years ago, and then it's kind of cool to see 8 years later that it's like come back full circle, and I've like built relationships with the people who have who I grew up on, like the shows I grew up on. So it's really dope experience.
And you mentioned like Keenan and Kel, and Alanis Morissette was on early Nickelodeon, and Dave Coulier. Did you feel kind of like, is that intimidating to kind of like follow in their footsteps, or like does it even cross your mind really?
It didn't really cross that. I guess that didn't really cross my mind. It was more like I'm now going to be a part of other kids' childhood, and they're going to reference this time, like this side hustle time, like what I'm doing to them is what they're going to be doing. And we're like, oh, you guys remember side hustle? Like, that's just kind of weird.
Yeah.
It's a weird thought. But it's cool too. So yeah. That's kind of more the part.
Initially, my first thought when I heard about you was, I'm like, I've never heard of this show. And then I'm like, oh yeah, my kids are like kind of older now, so they're not watching Nickelodeon. So I'm like, it would be weirder if I heard of it.
Yeah.
So like, do you get recognized on the street? Like, have you experienced that yet? Or
I mean, yeah, like not really. Also, we got masks on, so like it's like I mean, yeah. So I haven't really experienced anything like that.
Yeah,
or nothing crazy, but
the mask thing, like some of my best friends I can't recognize with masks on. It's crazy.
Yeah. So you can't. I saw one of our. He's I think he's the prop masters, and we were like, it was during Christmas break, and then I could have sworn it was him, but I couldn't tell because he usually has a mask on. I did not know this guy outside of the mask, so I could not recognize him. He's like outside, like waiting for food, and I could not recognize him without his mask. I was like, I'm sure that's him, but I've never seen the lower part of his mouth. So I don't know.
Did you start like holding up your hand to like kind of block it?
I was literally thinking like, how would he look with a mask on? And then I passed by him and I kind of like double take just to make see. And yeah, it was him. I was like, oh my God. I don't know. That's how okay. Yeah.
That's so funny. So how is filming changed under COVID restrictions? Is it way more difficult or?
It is. So pretty much what they did to combat it was like to lower the amount of people they have on set. So instead of like a bunch of people in the room, it's probably maybe 20 to 30 people in the room. And anybody who doesn't need to be in the room is usually like over Zoom, and everyone's masked and everyone's still 6 feet apart. So they kind of took care of that by like making sure they have enough space to keep everyone separate and make sure we have our like little bubble and make sure we don't run into anybody outside our bubble, which is, So, I mean, I would say the process isn't like slower. It's just like people have multiple jobs. Yeah.
Oh, so they kind of like strip down the number of people and like, okay, you're the grip cameraman and
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I set up the props sometimes. Like, is that good?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
You're like, Jacques, you're on craft services today.
Yeah. Craft services is still pretty dope. Like, I mean, we it's kind of more like a kiosk. Like, so you just go up and ask for something, and it's usually like packaged. Yeah. And they give that to us. So I mean, it's still a bunch of stuff. It's just packaged stuff, and you have to ask. And it's like a menu.
So you said you've been doing this for about 8 years. Like, how did you get started? Like, did you kind of start in school or?
I started in school. I did my first play was Shakespeare's Comedy of Errors, and I had played Antipholus of Syracuse at the time, and it was my first time on stage. And I remember this one moment when it was like right at the beginning, and I'm like beating up one of the Dromios because they forgot the money I asked them to go get. And I remember me just blacking out and forgetting that it was an audience. It was just like this bright light. And I was just like, it was very like an out of body kind of, it was like an experience I never had. And I was like, whoa, this is cool. Like, it was just like me and the other actor. And I started there. And then from there, I was like, I got to do more of this. And we actually got a chance to put it up at a local theater in Atlanta, which is like I mean, we're in high school, so like your best is like you get to get presented in front of your peers, but we actually
Right.
got to like show it at Atlanta and like real people come and see it, which is a cool experience.
Was it intimidating with being Shakespeare? Because I mean, Shakespeare is kind of it doesn't
Yeah,
flow off the tongue, with being Old English and
it doesn't. No, yes, I still have trouble today with meter, and my old director would get on me and be like, "You got to make sure you're like in time." Like, but yeah, it is intimidating. So you get a bunch of dialogue and you have to memorize it, and sometimes it's just like a monologue full of material, and you're like, oh, this is gonna be an uphill battle right here. This is gonna be a lot, but you get through it and you feel good after you've done it, after you memorize it.
yeah. I love that you mentioned how like when the the lights are on and the house lights are down, that it's like the audience disappears. Like I've spent a fair amount of time in my youth on stage, and people are always like, "Oh, isn't it scary?" I'm like, "No," because like you can't see anyone. Like I don't think about it at all as being in front of people.
Yeah. Unless you're in like a thrust stage and you got like people on the side.
yeah.
That's what it doesn't work. But yeah.
Did you ever have stage fright?
Did I ever have stage fright? I would get nervous. I still get nervous. I still get nervous at the beginning of anything. Like it's just like I'm just trying to, because I'm like trying to think of all the things I have to do. But then once I get started, I'm just like relaxed, and it becomes instinctual. Like I have to trust that I know the work, and I've done the work, so I can just forget everything and just kind of just perform.
Yeah,
but I still do get stage fright before I begin it. It's just like nerves.
and it's such a big difference between like a stage play and something, filming TV. TV, if you screw up, you just stop and do another take.
Right.
Do you prefer one over the other?
I do enjoy theater. Yeah. I like TV, but it's something about like staying in a character for 2 hours and living in that character and being able to do it different every day, and like change choices and see how your fellow actor or actress like plays off of it.
Yeah.
And also mistakes happen, and sometimes they're hilarious. Sometimes they're funny. Like it's like, oh, that was good. And it like you can feel the energy of the audience too, and how like they're like, oh, how they're gonna fix that? How they gonna change that? But yeah, I like that. I love being able to like having to like think on my feet and like try to fix a moment. Or
there's a theater group up here in Boston that I want to check out. I found out about them last year, kind of just pre-COVID, but they do Shakespeare. But prior to the play, they take one random cast member, it changes from show to show, and they get them completely drunk.
No way.
Yeah. So then you have one person in the Shakespeare play who's just annihilated, and they try to
what is this called?
They call it shit-faced Shakespeare.
I love that.
Okay. Yeah. And I think it's a really interesting, fun way to experience Shakespeare. So it's on my list of things to do, but I found out like maybe last November. And so it's like on my to-do list. But I love that idea of kind of, it's not modernizing it, but it's putting it in a context where you're going to have people go that maybe not familiar with Shakespeare and
still enjoy it.
And kind of hopefully kind of like be like, hey, that was a good play, good play.
Yeah, that's interesting. There's a theater up here. I think it's in Culver City. They do improv Shakespeare plays.
Yeah,
I never got a chance to see it. It was on my list, but they pretty much just they'll they'll like switch around. They know the structure of the play, but they'll like switch it around and like change the words around, and the other actors just kind of have to build a story, which is very interesting because improv is already hard. But then if you're like trying to trying to put it in like trying to put it in those worlds, I mean, right. I couldn't even imagine. Yeah, there's some interesting stuff going on in theater.
So how did you prep to be in Side Hustle? I know like a lot. I mean, was there research to be done? Because I mean, you're playing like a teenager, right?
Right, yeah. So, I mean, I kind of pulled from the relationship I had with my brother. I related to that. Like, I was like, oh, this is our relationship times 10. Like, that's that guy. And so I would just kind of think of moments that my brother would have with me. I remember one time we were watching Avatar: The Last Airbender, and it was like the first time like it came out, and he's like he's older than me. He gets my mom's broom and he puts it in between the two couches, and then he like sits on the broom. He's like, I'm Avatar. And then the broom breaks in half. And then he gets in trouble for it. But like I was just thinking like moments like that, like just like silly moments like that what I had with him, and then try to bring it to this character. Like have moments with like have some of that, try to transfer some of that to this character.
Yeah. Do you find, you know, I've heard people say that, you know, comedy acting is the most difficult. Do you find that to be true?
Comedy acting is the most difficult. Yes. I think it is harder than drama. Drama, I feel like with comedy acting, there's a joke. And you have like they're like in a script, there's beats and jokes, and the writers have like labeled them, and it's a flow to it. It's definitely a flow. It's like it's very musical. And with drama, you kind of have a freedom of just kind of like taking it where it wants to go. There's no beat. There's no specific beat you have to hit unless it's like a big moment, something happened to the character. But with a joke, it has to. And you not only have to you not only have to recognize the joke, you have also the joke has to land. Like it has to come across.
Right.
And that could be difficult.
What's the trick to landing the joke? I mean, is it just timing? Is it, you know, is it more slapsticky fall down like Chevy Chase?
It's honestly just it's timing, it's commitment, it's like committing to the scenario the character is in.
Yeah.
And how much you can make it come across as believable. Because the more believable and the more you believe that you're in this situation, the more that moment lands. And the more likely you'll get a laugh.
Yeah.
So yeah, the more you commit to that.
And it's got to be interesting because you're really aiming for a specific demographic. Like I remember when my kids were little, they kind of had their own jokes, and like there was like a good 6 months where my son just thought the word chicken was funny for some reason. So is it a big change between like doing comedy for a younger audience opposed to, you know, adults?
That's an interesting question. I don't think so. I think so. I think see what the writers do, at least in the show, they make sure there's a little something for everybody.
Yep.
So they know that the kids like the big kind of slapstick kind of humor. Like they want to see like the falls, they want to see the screaming and stuff like that. But they also know like the parents are watching with the kids and they want something for that. So that's where you can like commit to a character and like play a moment, and you'll find yourself laughing versus like towards like the falls or the, I don't know, the trips. I don't know, like stuff like that.
Yeah. I know Nickelodeon cartoons are, from watching with my kids, they would always work stuff in.
Yeah.
Was it? I think it was Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, they like snuck the Big Lebowski into an episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I'm freaking out, and my kids are looking at me like, "What?" And I'm like, "That was the dude." And they're like, "Uh-huh." Cool.
They have no idea.
No idea. So
yeah,
they always did a good job, I think, of kind of, may not have been the most entertaining, but they kind of reached out to parents there,
Yeah.
So, oh, sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was just saying. No, you can. Yeah, you can always like just tell. Like you like be like, oh, that's a joke for the older, for someone else, and then joke for kid. Yeah.
Now, like, what do you want to do in the future beyond this show? I mean, do you have kind of like a bucket list, checklist? Do you want to direct, or what's the future hold?
I would love to get behind the camera too. I had a chance to work with one of my friends with this short film that we did, and I like really found like a flow with working with just being able to juggle everything and like scheduling and like setting up. I did the props in the production of some of the stuff, and I really like that and enjoy that. I kind of want to explore it. Acting wise, I would love to like do something serious, like some drama. I would like to work with Viola Davis. That'd be dope.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would like to I got into acting because I saw Queen Latifah being able to play two different roles.
Yeah.
I think it was like Set It Off and Last Holiday. And like these are like two different roles from this like same area. And I like that. I was like, oh, I want to be able to play a serious role and be like dramatic, and also just like be able to be funny too, like have a more silly role. So I like that. So I would want to try something dramatic next.
Nice. I mean, some of my favorite actors are these, they are labeled character actors, but I think the ones where it almost takes you that minute to be like, where do I know that guy from? And then you're like, oh yeah, like Giovanni Ribisi.
Jared Leto.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I was thinking Giovanni Ribisi, who's just such a great actor. But he always plays kind of like the bit parts. Although he did have the lead in Sneaky Pete. I don't know if you ever saw that. It's a series that Bryan Cranston wrote, and it's a guy who is getting out of prison and is trying to avoid, I think, the mob, and takes on the identity of his cellmate. Did you freeze? Uh-oh. I think you're frozen. Are you back?
Hello? Yeah, I'm back.
I'm just busy talking away, and I look over and I'm like, that's a weird expression to be holding.
I was like, wait, is that me? Okay. Yeah. But no, yeah. I never, never heard of that. Sneaky Pete?
Sneaky Pete. I think it's on Amazon Prime. It's a good one.
Okay.
And I think that's one of the coolest things right now is there's so many venues between Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Prime all coming up with original work.
Yeah.
And it seems like they're more willing to experiment with stuff.
Yes. With shows. I mean, Disney's what's the show? What's coming out with this just came out this Friday. Everybody's hyped about it.
WandaVision?
WandaVision. WandaVision.
I just watched that this morning.
How is? Oh no! Is it good? I heard it's really good.
Yeah, it's really different. Really different for like because Marvel's usually explosions and fights and it's like watching an old sitcom, but something's not right.
Okay.
And they're not really keying you into what's not right yet, but there's something not right.
Okay. I heard the first two episodes are like it's supposed to be like replicate the Vic Van Dyke show and then is it Brady Bunch or is it something else?
The first two are replicating like a Dick Van Dyke Leave It to Beaver kind of thing.
Okay.
And at the end, it's transitioning to kind of like 70s style, but like it's at the very, very end of the second episode, so it's like it hasn't really. I from the preview, it looks like Brady Bunch, but it's weird. It's got ads. Like there's
I heard about that. I heard about that, and it's like Marvel thing.
And I'm curious because I got to talk to some friends. And as far as I know, this isn't a spoiler, but in the ad in the first one, it's for a toaster.
Mm-hmm.
And it occurred to me like right at the very end of the ad that like the light on the toaster is red. Like everything else is black and white. I'm like, why is that red?
Interesting.
So I think it's gonna be real interesting, but it's not gonna be your standard Marvel. Here's the villain, go fight him, explosions. So
yeah, that's what I'm loving about. I think we're like hitting like a really interesting spot with TV shows where people are like when I feel like people are giving creators a chance to write and like really go in depth in these characters in the world they live in and playing with like the story. Like you got like Upload, Schitt's Creek, what's another good one? Queen's Gambit, like all these stories where we get to like really go into and see these characters and live with them for a little while.
Is there like a binge-worthy show that you're interested in being on, or do you like want to dip your toe in the Marvel universe or Mandalorian or
a binge-worthy TV show that I would like to be in? I would love. I know they're on their last season. I just saw that they're on their last season. Insecure by Issa Rae. Really good. It's really solid. It's on HBO. I just saw the announcement that the next season is going to be the last season. It's really good. It really reminds me of home. It reminds me of Atlanta. It captures that, but it's like it's framed in South Central in LA. So which is weird, but it's a really good show. Binge worthy. See, there's another one. Oh, Upload. I finished so quickly. It's on Amazon Prime.
I don't think I've seen that one yet.
Oh, dude, it's good. It's really good, and it's very easy. It's a very easy binge.
Oh, nice.
Super easy binge. It's like it's framed in a world where instead of dying, you have a choice to be uploaded to this. To this virtual world, and they kind of just play in there. Like they this character's like, I don't want to give anything away, but they play. It's very good.
It reminds me of they did an episode similar to that in Black Mirror.
Oh yeah.
I'm a season behind, but I don't think I can watch that till we're out of a pandemic. It's just too.
Yeah.
Black Mirror is to me the scariest thing on TV because it's too real.
Yeah, it's happening right now. Like some of the things. Yeah.
So for a young actor wanting to start, what are some of the pitfalls you might say to avoid? Advice you can give. How does one get on Nickelodeon?
How does I get on Nickelodeon? Um, Pitfalls. I don't know. I feel like a lot of the work that I got into and the jobs I got was with people I had relationships with, and like people I like built like a relationship with, and just like over time. So I guess like not being kind of being in a rush to get there.
Yeah.
Because there's like little steps in the journey where you're like, oh, that prepared me for this and that prepared me for that. And I was like, oh, and then when you get to this moment, you like you look back and you're like, oh my God, like this is all prepared me for being on this sitcom, and I'm like, I'm ready to do this. So enjoying like where you're at right now, and then just enjoying the journey and enjoying the process. Love the process. Yeah.
Do you ever have those moments like where you're kind of like looking around, you're like, how did I get here?
Yeah.
And is someone gonna like kick me out?
Very much so, yes. Yeah. I mean, I'm on the Paramount lot where the Hollywood sign is just like directly in front. I mean, it feels very dreamlike. And yeah, every day I'm like, oh, okay, you guys still want me to work here? Does my badge still work to get in? Cool. Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right. So yeah, it's very, very crazy. But it's cool.
Have you met any celebrities that kind of enhance that, where you're like, I can't believe I'm meeting this person in a social setting?
Isaiah's dad, Isaiah Cruz. Isaiah's dad is Terry Crews. And I got a chance to meet him, and he's from like Everybody Loves Chris, and he's on Brooklyn.
He's on everything, man. Like,
yeah, he's on everything.
He's in the Expendables. Yeah.
Talent.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, he's everywhere. Yeah. I got to meet him, which was very weird, but cool. Yeah, I think that's about it. But also, like, no one else can be on set because of COVID, so I don't really get to roam Paramount that much. But anytime I do see somebody,
I feel like that thing. If that person ever was like, "Oh, my dad," I'd be like, "You mean Terry Crews?" Like,
you mean Terry? Yeah. No.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. So you're in hiatus on filming right now? Is that
I think we're off hiatus after this week, so I'll go back, start filming next week.
So where's home when you're not filming? Right.
Where's home?
Like, do you live in LA, or are you still out of Georgia?
I do live in LA. I live near North Hollywood, near the Burbank Airport. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to visit home this year because of all the crazy stuff, and then LA has some crazy stuff going on too. So,
yeah, you guys are
excited.
California's hard hit, right?
Yes, we yeah.
I think
crazy.
The best plan I heard from anyone that I have been interviewing, this was like back in April or May. I was talking to this musician, and his wife was from Iceland.
Okay.
So as soon as things started to get bad, they packed up and went to Iceland from New York. He's like, I missed how bad New York got.
That's a solid idea. That was a solid idea. Yeah.
I mean, his Wi-Fi connection was terrible.
Oh,
it's fair trade though.
Yeah.
So what else influences your acting? Are you do you watch a lot of online content, podcasts, music? Like, does any of that like carry over?
I like to. I mean, like some of my favorite shows, I definitely pull from that.
Hmm.
Uh, I do like to listen to music sometimes, like try to find what the character would listen to.
Yeah.
Yeah, try some of that. I what else would I do? I try like different things. I even try like to maybe if the character is since I'm a theater actor, I like the whole movement thing, trying to start from the physical to inspire the character.
Oh, kind of like how they would carry themselves and how they would walk and.
Right, right, yeah. So I try different things for different characters. Whatever like is exciting for me
Mhm.
to do when I'm working on the character, that's what
When
I'll
you
keep playing with.
when you're working on like how they would move and things like that, how helpful is like kind of wardrobe, like wearing what they would, the kind of thing that they would wear.
Sometimes wardrobe really does help. It like really puts you into place. It sometimes even the clothes are like tight. If it's like a character who's like very like a king or something, his clothes would be would automatically it wouldn't feel right just like slouching into the character if you're trying to portray that. The clothes really do help, and it kind of is like the cherry on top. It kind of like brings everything together at the end. Yeah, it helps
So
you embody it more.
is it that kind of like method actor kind of thing? Like, do you go as far as like, okay, call me by my character's name when I'm on set?
Call me by jacket.
Yeah.
No,
No.
no.
I find that really borderline. Like, sometimes I'm like, I get it, but other time I know, like, famously
Yeah.
Jim Carrey was like, people would ask him about his behavior on the set for Andy Kaufman's
Yes,
movie,
I
and
saw
he'd be like,
saw
I
the
don't know, ask
documentary.
Andy. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I can. I don't feel like, and it doesn't. I don't feel like it's for me at least. It isn't helpful. Like
Yeah.
it blurs the line of like real life and work,
Yeah.
and you want to be able to separate the two. You want to, you know,
You want to
you
function as a normal human being.
you don't function as a normal hit. Like
Yeah.
things begin to blend, and you don't want that. You don't want that. So I work on like just like imagination and like anything that inspires an idea or a thought, and then I try to translate it in the character.
What actors specifically like influence you that you're like, oh, I want to be like whoever?
Man, Joaquin Phoenix and the Joker was sickening,
You're gonna hate me. I haven't
sickening.
seen it. I haven't seen it.
Oh my god, you have to see it. What have you been doing?
I was so angry. I'm a big comic book fan, and like I hate the DC movies. Like I think there's
Oh,
only
that one doesn't even count. That doesn't
yeah.
even count as a DC movie.
That's what everyone tells me, but I'm like, I've not seen it.
It was very experimental, and that's what I do like about Warner Brothers is that they do allow their their people just have creative control and like just go ahead and do it. And yeah, Todd Phillips, I think, directed that, and with him and Joaquin Phoenix,
Yeah.
I was literally nauseous throughout the film.
Really?
I went to go see it twice, like nauseous because of just like the moments he played and how present he was in every scene and every moment. Amazing. I mean, you want to walk out of a movie changed and feel like you've just seen something like life changing or something. Like you want to feel that when you walked out, and that's what you felt when you walked out of the Joker. That's what I felt, and all my friends.
I think that's really truly like, and this isn't. I'm gonna like throw shade at some directors, and I don't really mean to, but like, the big blockbuster summer movie, those aren't gonna change your life. They're, they're good. Don't get me wrong. I've seen tons of them, but like there's definitely directors out there that no matter what movie they put out, I will go see it. Like Terry Gilliam.
Well,
He's
Terry
one
Gilliam.
of the original members of Monty Python, and he's
Oh,
directed a
okay.
ton of movies. And
Okay.
the one he did most recently is like this historic movie in Hollywood because it was in production for like 20 years, and it got tied up in courts, and it was never going to be released. And there were documentaries about how the movie was never coming out. It's called The Man Who Killed Don Quixote.
Okay, yeah.
And I think Adam Driver ended up starring in it, and it was so tied up in legal battles that it went out as like a Fathom event where they're like, it's going to be shown on like 2 nights. If you don't see it, I don't know what to tell you. And it was such a good movie. It was really, really good and bizarre, and yeah, it's very trippy.
Oh wow. Okay, I've heard of it. I haven't seen it though.
But he's done like 12 Monkeys and
I've seen 12 Monkeys.
Yeah, and he did
that was good.
The last movie that Heath Ledger was in, Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus.
Okay.
Yeah. So you check out his movies, I'll check out the Joker.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
So,
okay.
But so when does Side Hustle air on Nickelodeon? Like, is there a new season starting? I mean, if you guys are filming, it's got a little ways off, right?
Yes. I think new episodes start back up in January. I believe it's the 23rd.
Okay.
It comes on Saturdays at 8.
Okay.
7 Central, 8:30, 7:30 Central. Yeah.
All right. And do you have like a Instagram or TikTok where people can follow you on?
I got an Instagram. I also have a TikTok, but I'm not active on it. But it's at Jacques Chevelle.
Nice. Well, dude, this was a lot of fun. I really appreciate you coming on talking to us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, you seem like a really solid guy. You know, I wish the best of luck to you, and can't wait to see what else you're going to be in this next serious Shakespearean
work. Okay, yeah. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
No problem. We'll see you later.
All right, see ya. Have a nice one.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to today's podcast. You can find us on all social medias at Inebri-art or on Instagram at Inebri-art6. You can email us at Inebri-art@yahoo.com. And make sure you listen to the other podcasts on the Inebri-art Podcast Network, including Bar Talk, Old Colony Cast, Retro Redoctopus, America's Hometown Horror Podcast, and our newest one, Theme Park Legends, a podcast about working at theme parks. What else? And we'll catch you again next time.